Today, Taiwan's defense minister called recent Chinese military movements around the island abnormal. Taiwan has reported an increase in these types of activities, including fighter jets, drones, and bombers. Joining us right now to talk about the current state of tensions and the risk of a political conflict in that region is Admiral James Stavridis. He is the former Supreme Allied Commander of NATO. He's also chief international analyst for NBC News and MSNBC. And, sir, looking at what's happening here, it's different than what we've seen in the past, maybe you say because of the silence. You want to explain why this is different and why this is perhaps more threatening?
It's a bit of geography going on here, Becky. What the Taiwanese are used to and what we've normally seen out of China is flying around on the western side of the island, that stretch of water about 100 miles in between Taiwan's west coast and China's east coast. That's normal, if you will. What's new here is those aircraft are kind of encircling the island and moving around to the east side of the island, the back of the island from China. Why that matters is because on that eastern portion of the island of Taiwan is where the Taiwanese have built up most of their bases, most of their capability to kind of protect it from China, which threatens on the other side. So this is kind of a new wrinkle. It's a bit disturbing, and yet we're not hearing either side trumpeting it a great deal. All of that leads me to believe this is one to watch. I'll close here. I don't see it flaring up into a big attack scenario. China's slowly trying to make Taiwan used to this encirclement piece.
I mean, it almost sounds like a dog marking its territory if you're flanking from the other side and just saying we're not just playing in the strait between us, but this is all part of our territory.
Indeed. And there's military tactical utility here as well, because when you swing around behind, you can use those shorter range missiles more accurately against the Taiwanese Air Force. And worth pointing out, in terms of pure numbers, China has 4,000 military aircraft, Taiwan about 400. So at the end of the day, this is a very challenging scenario for Taiwan. Certainly has the attention of Madam Tsai, the president, and the military leadership on the island.
How would you boil that down and tell business leaders who might be watching this, those who have business interests or potential business interests in Taiwan, in China, what does this mean for them?
I don't think this is a significant change, Becky. And at the Carlyle Group, where I'm vice chairman for global affairs, we remain long on China. We believe that the U.S. and China will find ways to work through the relationship, but there will be spikes and tensions as we go. Probably the next one to watch for closely will be in January, when Taiwan has a set of elections. If the new president of Taiwan is more aggressive toward China, that would be a spike. But Becky, longer term, we continue to believe the U.S. and China are going to work through this. Final thought, President Xi and President Biden will be getting together face-to-face in San Francisco in a few months. That'll be a good point, I think, to balance against some of these spikes that we will see from time to time.
Admiral Stavridis, part of any sort of negotiation or dance with this is just the basic understanding of know your adversary. What would be more effective, in your opinion, when these meetings come up between President Biden and President Xi? Is this a situation where you stake your ground and say, don't cross this line? Is this a situation where you try and downplay the tensions and find ways to work across the board together?
It's a bit of both, Becky. And if I were going to boil it down and really summarize it, I'd say in dealing with China today, the U.S. ought to take an approach of confront where we must, but cooperate wherever we can. So we need to confront China on their claims of ownership, for example, of the entire South China Sea, a vast sea space, half the size of the United States. We're not going to simply turn that space over to China. On the other hand, where can we cooperate? Perhaps in climate, perhaps in humanitarian activities around the world, perhaps in medical diplomacy. There are zones of cooperation, and I would park our world of business that we focus on here on Squawk kind of right in the middle. There are going to be parts of the business world where there will be tension. Cyber is another area of confrontation, but certainly there's a great deal of trade that's going to continue between these two nations. I don't see a big decoupling coming out of all this.
Prime Minister Kishida of Japan was in New York yesterday and speaking with different groups about trying to stress the importance of having allies. The United States, South Korea, Japan. He intentionally has reached out to try and ease some of the troubles with Japan, with South Korea, and make a stronger relationship there. He's doing the same thing with the United States because he sees a huge threat from China and from Russia. How important are building those allied relationships?
The greatest comparative advantage of the United States, and we have many advantages from our innovation systems to our capitalism, to our younger population. We have many advantages. I would argue our greatest is this glittering array of alliances around the world. And to what you just mentioned, Becky, I would add Australia, New Zealand, Singapore, and increasingly India. This idea of a quad between the United States, Japan, Australia, and India, balancing China. Let's try and pull South Korea into that. Let's make that quad a quint. That would be pretty smart strategy. I think you'll see that in the months ahead.